back river has beautiful riparian vegetation, lovely pools, a rare environmental system, and it's the sort of thing my dad would have loved to have created. He was hoping to do that. My father was very interested in, plant conservation. He'd spent most of his adult life growing native plant gardens. He retired to a rural property and established a large native garden. Dad joined the Bird Observers Club, for example, in the 60s and was well aware of the threats for birds. So big trees with hollows, really important. So that's one of the features here. There's lots of big trees with hollows. He was concerned about the plant conservation issues, so having big areas is important. So that's, I think, about here. It's a big enough area to make a contribution. So there's lots of things about this property which were exciting. So I think when we left, we knew that this was the place. It was no surprise that Dad left a bequest for conservation property in his will. He discussed that with us, and he'd made his intentions clear years before he passed. His intention was the majority of his estate was to purchase a property for conservation, for protection of wildlife and habitat. So when it came to looking for properties, we made the decision that the Tasmanian Land Conservancy had an outstanding record. They really had very high standards for their conservation science and their land management, and they were progressive in a number of different ways which appealed to us.
We've been keen nature conservationists, I guess would be a term, for decades, and so we got a fair idea of the organisations around Australia that are doing land conservation work and managing properties. So we thought about various parts of Australia, what are possibilities, and decided that Tasmania was a very good prospect because there's some such beautiful natural areas left in Tasmania, and the animals and birds. So many more marsupials on the ground because of no foxes and so on. And we'd been supporters of Tasmanian Land Conservancy for quite a long time, about 10 years or so. We knew they were doing a great job, and so we asked them if they had any prospects, any properties that they were interested in, and of course they did. They had a whole wish list.
One of the really good features here is that this property goes from the higher elevations right down the slopes into the waterways, and getting those lower valleys actually is important.
It's a bit of a privilege, How often do you get that opportunity to find a wonderful natural environment to preserve, protect?
I'd encourage people to get more engaged and think about the future. What is it they want to happen? How do they contribute to Australia being a wonderful place, looking after the places we love? Certainly the environment needs all the friends it can get at the moment.